Hello folks, this is your boy Quan here, and today, in the year of 2026, I just want to hit up on some stuff that I'm excited for. Now, if you're curious about some of the goals that I'm approaching or trying to go for this year, I would definitely detail that in a different video. Might even make it a stream, that way I can see some, some reactions, maybe some tips, maybe some people that can give me some advice, maybe help me out with that goal. With that being said, I'm gonna go with the usual thing, which is I am a big fan of movies, and from the last time I pretty much made a video about movies, I detailed that I go to the theater a lot, and I even tally marked it in one of my short vids that I kind of go a little bit ham when it comes to movies. I think I did about like maybe 48 movies last year, and not just 48 go watch movies. 48 go watch movies in theaters with the popcorn, with people I love, people I want to go see it with, all that stuff. With that being said, we're gonna jump into some of the movies I'm interested in this year. And I might give a small recap, but I'm gonna try, or small synopsis on the movie. I'm gonna try my best to keep it as short as possible. That way I can keep this ball rolling. Let's see here. First up is We Bury the Dead. This looks like an interesting movie. It has pretty much Rey from the latest trilogy of the Star Wars. And basically from what it seems like she is on this, group. This group that's pretty much going around and making sure that certain zombies are dead, while at the same time, if there happen to be some alive zombies during this apocalypse, they try to kill them. But her second mission is to kind of see if her lover is still alive, or is, dead, or is dead and turned into a zombie doing crazy stuff. It seems very interesting to me. I'm very interested to look at it and to watch it. Another movie that I'm very much excited about is another horror movie called Primate. From what I've gathered from the trailers, it gives off the vibes of, Cujo, but instead of a rabid giant dog, it is a rabid primate, a rabid chimp. And I don't know if you know anything about chimps, but I would say look up Casual Geographic. He's a YouTuber, and he'll tell you all about how scary chimps are already. So the fact that this is almost at a higher level makes it a little bit more crazy. Another movie that I'm lightly interested in, but I'll probably go see it because I saw the first one, streamed it, and it was very interesting, was pretty much Greenland 2 Migrations. If you saw the first one, it was about pretty much a giant string of comets and asteroids hitting Earth, and it was about this family trying to get to a safe spot before the giant collision that kind of pushed the world under for a little while. This is about, the aftermath, to where they have survived in a certain space, in a certain place under the ground, but now due to what the comets have caused, it's caused a lot of geological and weather-like things that makes it not the best place to live, and now they have to think about moving somewhere else that might be a better place to live. And it's pretty much their journey on that. Another movie that I gotta see, mostly because I already saw the first one, is of course the 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. I will say that I liked the first one. There were definitely moments to where it did feel like, the 28 series. There are also moments where it just kind of went off kilter and, little sweet moments. But I'm interested in it. I'm part of that group to where it's just like, well, if I saw the first one, that means I gotta see the second one. I'm part of that group, and I'm hoping that this one might be just a tad bit more intense. Keep that, 28 feeling, 28 days, 28 weeks later, feeling alive, but just small intensity. With, of course, some light anarchy and the possibility of not trusting humanity in certain spots. But we'll get to that in a little bit. Another horror movie. I got a lot of horror movies. Remember, I am genuinely a horror fanatic. I'm generally pretty much a horror junkie, as I like to dub myself. So most of this will be on the list of horror movies, but of course I'm also a nerd, so there'll be some action movies, there'll be some superhero movies, there'll be some adventure movies, but I'm gonna stop right there. Speaking about it, we have a movie called Killer Whale, which happens to be about a killer whale that happens to be hunting people. And once again, if you want to know some animal facts, go check out Casual Geographic. He's my main guy. He tells it in such an interesting, entertaining, and sometimes funny way to where you can kind of remember certain facts. And I'm not saying this is very close to what could happen eventually, but it's not far-fetched, especially with how scary it is. And of course, I'm always a little bit weary about the ocean and what deals in the ocean. Another one is Send Help, and I'm trying to remember that as to why I was interested in it, but it's not clicking yet. Some of these might be like some things where I was like, oh, I remember that now. I was like, no, I don't remember, but I put it on the list. I put it on the list based on I'm interested in it. The other movie that seems very like wacky and crazy and sci-fi is pretty much Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. And this basically seems like something out of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, but it also has like its different thing, a different sci-fi thing. It's basically about somebody who gets sent from the future back to the past, but it deals with a different kind of, I want to say entity, maybe similar to Skynet, but I want to say a different entity. And of course, how he comes into the world is very wacky. So it's definitely, I want to say it might be like a Terminator kind of thing with like some crazy stuff going on. Not as actiony, but probably randomly funny. Let's see. Cold Storage. Cold Storage seems interesting. It seems like a movie that has Liam Neeson and forget the actor, but it's the actor that plays Steve in Stranger Things, since we're all reeling about Stranger Things. And it seems like a very interesting movie. Basically, from what I got, it's basically these people working in this certain storage facility while trying to contain a dangerous fungus that can possibly do some crazy stuff if released. So, very interesting stuff. Another movie, This Is Not a Test. It's another zombie movie. I'm actually kind of finding it funny that we might have a small resurgence of zombie movies here. With this one, this is pretty much about how, I guess, high schoolers would possibly deal with the zombie apocalypse when it's happening while they're at school. Definitely interesting stuff. And of course, if you are a Scream fan, you got Scream 7. I have recently turned into a Scream fan after last year tried to binge all of the Scream movies, and I gotta say they're pretty good. They keep the who's who, the guess who kind of thing going, and of course, it's very intense and have some funny moments. But I do like the feel of the Scream movies, so I'm definitely a fan now. What I'm not a fan of, but I need to be, but I'll probably watch it definitely before it comes out, is Ready or Not 2. I have not seen the first one yet, so I can't really detail on it, but I know it's based on the first one for sure, especially since the heroine of the first movie is in the second one. I gotta watch the first one though, so that's on me. I'll hopefully watch it before it comes out. I'm interested in Supergirl, because once again, nerd. And the actress, she was also in, House of the Dragon. She's been doing some pretty nice stuff. She seems very likable, so I'm definitely going to look into it, even though I do like the trope that it seems as though the only movie that James Gunn can make is a James Gunn movie, but we're not going to get into that right now. The Mandalorian and Grogu. Enough said. Star Wars movie. Hopefully it's good. Horror movie, Obsession. This one, from what it seems like from the trailer, is dealing with, I guess, if someone made a wish, and the wish was about somebody really liking them when they really like this person. And I guess this could go into how that wish could actually be the worst thing possible, or how they obsess could be the worst thing possible. I can definitely see this being a scare movie for, I guess, relationships and definitely dating. So careful with that. Anyway, other one is, of course, I've seen the first one, loved it, and I definitely love the games. Mortal Kombat 2. I gotta see it. I gotta do it. It's gotta be there. Gotta be there. Hokum. This is definitely a horror movie. This has been made by one of the directors that I really like. Didn't pop in my head, but from some of the imagery that has happened in some of the movies that this director has made, he's came out with some very scary stuff, some very like kind of spooky jump scares. So I definitely gotta see this one because that actor's there. I put Shiver down. I'm trying to remember Shiver. This is a good spot on it. Let's see. Moving on. Super Mario Galaxy. Saw the first one. Gotta see the second one. I love the first one. It was definitely a joy. Definitely a popcorn movie. Definitely go see it with, some nerdy group of friends. It's very nice. They're making The Mummy, but it's not like The Mummy with Brandon Fraser in it. I hear they're making another one with Brandon Fraser, but I think this is another take on The Mummy, another separate Mummy. They gotta try to see if they can bring that back. I understand. The Odyssey, Christopher Nolan. Check out the trailer. Looks epic. Enough said. Gotta go see it. Evil Dead Burn, also. Enough said. Saw Evil Dead Rise. That was crazy good. And I'm hoping the same thing with Evil Dead Burn. Because Evil Dead is definitely that interesting horror series now that goes with definitely body horror and certain things. Of course, has the Deadites happening. All right, going into some more nerdy activity. We have Spider-Man Brand New Day. Interested, already saw all the movies. Hopefully it's a little bit better, especially with some of the surprise guests that might be showing up. Digging it. Clayface, I hear it's about pretty much the Batman villain, but they're making it into a horror movie, which I find interesting. And one of the things that we're going into, the restarting of Resident Evil. Hopefully they get it right. Hopefully they do it in a decent way. Because the last few Resident Evil tries that they did was like shaky. And even though the very first string of Resident Evil movies wasn't really 100% to, the game, I'll at least give it credit that, it tried something. And I'll only give credit to the first one. And maybe a little bit the second one, but mostly the first one. After that, it's kind of like overkill, or just like what is going on here. But that's me. Speaking of video game movies, another video game movie that comes out this year is Street Fighter. Gotta see it. I can see where some people might be angry at it, or might be like, it needs to be like raw and cool, but they try. And sometimes it's gotta be slightly goofy, slightly like, too much in order to come across, as a good movie or an interesting movie. This movie came out a few years ago. Well, the first one came out a few years ago, and now they're making a sequel to it, which has made me a fan once again of certain Christmas movies. But it's Violent Night 2. They're making a sequel. Get to see Santa go at it again with give presents to people while also trying to not be too crazy, and of course saving the day, in this Santa's fashion. Hopefully we'll up the ante from the last one. Let's see. Of course, these movies right here are going to be movies that I gotta see, because not only is it nerdum, but also I've seen the movies before, or I have deep interest in them. These two right here. Avengers Doomsday. It's anticipated. Everyone is excited because basically not only the return of Marvel, but also the return of possibly cool Marvel, cool Avengers. I'm not saying the Marvel universe hasn't been cool, but it's been showing, I guess, a little bit in the numbers that the Marvel movies hasn't been picking up like they should have. It hasn't been encouraging It hasn't been encouraging people to go to the movies to go see it. We'll say that. But hopefully this one will put it on, will basically put Marvel back on the map for a small amount of time. Even though with everything that's been going on, I can also see it's definitely a good catch of nostalgia bait. Like, hey, this is your favorite character. You should go see him in this one of the last Marvel movies we'll make before we restart this again in about a decade or two. Dune Part 3, that's what I'm hearing. I gotta confirm it. But Dune Part 3, I already saw the first Dune. I definitely love the first one. I like the second one. The second one's pretty up there, especially with the action and how they go about it. I'm interested in the third one. I'm having a feeling that it might be more talky than, the last one, but we'll see. I mean, I'm in there for it. And then, of course, the last movie, Robert Eggers. He made Nosferatu, and it's now on my list of very top vampire movies. Now, he's making a werewolf movie called Werewolf, with the O replaced by a U. And from what some people have shown pictures of, I haven't seen the pictures yet, but I trust this man because he's made, Nosferatu, he's made Northman, and those movies were awesome. They were pretty, they were epic. Especially Nosferatu was creepy and scary and all the imagery going on. But I trust this director with a lot of things he's been making. Oh, and he made The Witch. The Witch, definitely some nice little imagery. I definitely like how his art style, his camera style is, how he takes colors and stuff. And I'm a big on werewolves, so I'm definitely anticipating that he's going to make, just like he made Nosferatu, something to be scary, something to be scared about. I'm hoping he's going to make put werewolves back on the map, because I really do think they need their due diligence. With that being said, I think I've blabbed enough. That is all the movies of 2026 that I am excited about. Which ones are you excited about? Tell me what they are. Hopefully we'll hear about it soon. And remember, stay awesome, stay good, deuces.